There is a food that contains more iron than any meat, more protein than eggs, and more antioxidants than blueberries. It is not new. In fact, it is over 3.5 billion years old. It delivers 12 times more iron than steak. It is safe than supplements, more absorbable than lentils, and has helped reverse anemia in double-blind clinical trials across 3 continents. It boosts immunity, clears brain fog, and supports red blood cell production without the side effects of traditional treatments. Then we erased it. Despite mountains of research and dozens of peer-reviewed studies, this nutrient powerhouse was removed from medical conversations, excluded from nutrition guidelines, and buried beneath decades of meat-first messaging. Why? Because there is no profit in a natural substance that cannot be patented. Pharmaceutical companies will not fund studies they cannot monetize. Medical schools, influenced by industry-backed curricula, barely mention it. By 2023, even with 2 billion people suffering from iron deficiency, it was still missing from the doctor's office. Yet it may already be in your kitchen, on your shelf, in the protein powder you almost bought last week. Welcome to Secrets Beneath Nature, where we explore the real secrets hidden from us. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe to our channel. It helps us grow and continue to deliver value. Let's start with what iron deficiency actually does to your body. When your blood does not have enough iron, it cannot produce adequate hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen from your lungs to every tissue, every organ, every cell in your body. Without enough hemoglobin, your entire system starts running on empty. The symptoms are so common that most people dismiss them as normal life. Chronic fatigue that sleep does not fix. Brain fog that makes concentration feel impossible. Weakened immunity that leaves you catching every cold that passes through the office. Hair that falls out in the shower. Difficulty breathing during exercise. Restless legs at night. Cold hands and feet, no matter what the temperature. According to the World Health Organization, 40% of children under 5 years old are anemic, 37% of pregnant women, 30% of women of reproductive age. In some regions of Africa and South Asia, the majority of the population is iron deficient. This is not a rare condition affecting a small group of people. This is a global health crisis hiding in plain sight. The Lancet Haematology published a comprehensive study in 2023 analyzing 3 decades of global anemia data. Their findings were striking. 66% of all anemia cases worldwide stem from one cause: dietary iron deficiency, not genetic disorders, not chronic diseases, simply not getting enough iron from food. And what does conventional medical advice tell us to do about it? Eat more red meat. The logic seems straightforward. Iron from animal sources called heme iron has a higher absorption rate than iron from plant sources called non-heme iron. Your body absorbs roughly 25% of heme iron compared to about 17% of non-heme iron. Case closed, right? Meat wins. But here is what that simple comparison leaves out. What if a plant source contains so much more iron that even with lower absorption, you end up getting more into your bloodstream? And more importantly, what if that better absorbed heme iron comes with serious health consequences that nobody mentions? A meta-analysis published in 2013 examined data from over 130,000 participants across multiple studies. The researchers found that higher heme iron intake was associated with a 31% increased risk of coronary heart disease. Not a small bump, a significant elevation in your chances of developing the #1 killer in the developed world. The dose-response relationship was even more alarming. For every additional 1 milligram of heme iron consumed per day, coronary heart disease risk increased by 27%. The mechanism is not mysterious. Heme iron acts as a paro-oxidant in the body, generating harmful free radicals and promoting the oxidation of LDL cholesterol. This oxidized cholesterol is what builds up in your arteries, forming the plaques that lead to heart attacks and strokes. But the cardiovascular system is not the only concern. Research published in peer-reviewed oncology journals has linked high heme iron intake to increased risk of colorectal cancer, pancreatic cancer, and lung cancer. The iron catalyzes the formation of N-nitroso compounds in the gut, substances that damage DNA and promote tumor development. It also creates lipid peroxidation products that harm cell membranes throughout the body. Here is the critical distinction. When researchers looked at non-heme iron from plant sources, they found no association with cardiovascular disease. No association with cancer. The body handles these two forms of iron completely differently. With heme iron, absorption is essentially unregulated. Your body takes it in whether you need it or not. But with non-heme iron, your body has intelligent gatekeeping mechanisms. When your iron stores are low, absorption increases. When you have enough, absorption decreases. It is a self-regulating system that evolved over millions of years. So we have an iron source that is better absorbed but linked to heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. And we have an iron source that is safer, regulated by the body's own wisdom, but supposedly inferior, unless the plant source is so concentrated that the absorption difference becomes irrelevant. Enter spirulina. Spirulina is a cyanobacterium, a blue-green microorganism that has been photosynthesizing on Earth for approximately 3.5 billion years. It is one of the oldest life forms on the planet. And, pound for pound, it is one of the most nutrient-dense foods modern science has analyzed. Per 100 grams of dry weight, spirulina contains between 28 and 50 milligrams of iron, depending on growing conditions. Compare that to beef at 2.6 milligrams per 100 grams, spinach at 2.7 milligrams per 100 grams, or lentils at 3.3 milligrams per 100 grams. Nothing else comes close. But raw iron content is only part of the story. What makes spirulina particularly remarkable is what it does not contain. Unlike legumes, grains, and many vegetables, spirulina has no phytates, no oxalates, and no tannins. These are the compounds that bind to iron in your digestive system and prevent absorption. Their absence means spirulina's iron is far more bioavailable than typical plant sources. Research comparing spirulina to ferrous sulfate, the standard iron supplement prescribed by doctors, found that spirulina delivered equal or greater iron absorption in animal models. It outperformed whole wheat significantly, and unlike synthetic supplements, it comes packaged with a complete spectrum of supporting nutrients. This is not just laboratory theory. Clinical trials in humans have documented the effects. At the University of California, Davis, researchers studied 40 senior citizens diagnosed with anemia. After 12 weeks of spirulina supplementation, participants showed significant improvements in mean corpuscular hemoglobin and mean corpuscular volume, key indicators of healthy red blood cell production. Their immune function improved as well. In Tehran, a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial followed 80 patients with ulcerative colitis, a condition often complicated by iron deficiency. After just 8 weeks of taking 1 gram of spirulina daily, the supplementation group showed significantly increased serum iron levels compared to placebo. The difference was statistically significant. In Kenya, researchers conducted a randomized controlled trial with 240 children suffering from iron deficiency anemia. Those receiving a spirulina fortified corn soy blend showed higher recovery rates than control groups. A systematic review published in 2025, analyzing 32 in vivo studies, confirmed that spirulina supplementation consistently improves hemoglobin levels, serum ferritin, and red blood cell counts. This is peer-reviewed science published in major medical journals. Double-blind studies, placebo controls, statistically significant results. The evidence exists. It is just not reaching the people who need it most. Beyond iron, spirulina offers a nutritional profile that reads like a multivitamin designed by nature. It is 60 to 70% complete protein by dry weight, more concentrated than beef, fish, or eggs. It contains all 8 essential amino acids. Its signature blue pigment, phycocyanin, is a powerful antioxidant with documented anti-inflammatory properties. It provides beta-carotene, B vitamins, vitamin E, and minerals, including calcium, magnesium, zinc, and potassium. And for those concerned about iron absorption, there is another advantage. Spirulina naturally contains vitamin C and copper, both of which enhance iron uptake. When you consume spirulina with additional vitamin C sources like citrus fruit or bell peppers, you are creating optimal conditions for your body to utilize every milligram. The question everyone asks is obvious. If spirulina is this effective, this well-researched, and this widely available, why do doctors not recommend it? The answer is not a conspiracy. It is systemic. Medical education focuses heavily on pharmaceuticals and conventional food recommendations. Superfoods rarely appear in the curriculum. The simplified teaching that heme iron absorbs better than non-heme iron becomes doctrine, without examination of total iron content or long-term health trade-offs. Physicians are trained to be skeptical of supplements because the industry is poorly regulated and full of exaggerated claims. And perhaps most significantly, natural substances cannot be patented. Without intellectual property protection, there is limited financial incentive for pharmaceutical companies to fund research or marketing. None of this means spirulina is a miracle cure or that you should abandon medical advice. It means the information ecosystem is incomplete, and filling those gaps is your responsibility. For those ready to explore spirulina, quality matters enormously. The product must come from controlled environments and be tested for heavy metals and microcystin contamination. Look for third-party verification from reputable laboratories. People with phenylketonuria should avoid spirulina because of its phenylalanine content. Those with autoimmune conditions should consult their doctors, since spirulina can stimulate immune function. Anyone with hemochromatosis or iron overload should not be adding concentrated iron to their diet. Caution is advised. Start slowly. Begin with 1 to 3 grams daily and gradually increase to 5 or 10 grams a day as your body adapts. Take it with vitamin C-rich foods to maximize absorption. Avoid coffee and tea within an hour of consumption because their polyphenols can inhibit uptake. Clinical trials that showed significant results typically ran from 8 to 12 weeks, so patience is required. The taste is admittedly challenging. Spirulina has an earthy, algae-forward flavor that takes some adjustment. Smoothies with banana, mango, or pineapple mask it effectively. Tablets and capsules eliminate the taste issue entirely. Some people add small amounts to pesto, hummus, or energy balls where strong flavors dominate. Taste matters for long-term use. The larger point extends beyond any single food. The EPIC Oxford study, one of the largest investigations of vegetarian and vegan nutrition ever conducted, found that vegans had the highest iron intake of any dietary group studied, higher than vegetarians, higher than fish eaters, and higher than meat eaters. The American Dietetic Association has stated that iron deficiency is no more common among vegetarians than among those who eat meat. Study findings matter. The narrative that meat equals iron equals health is not wrong, but it is incomplete. Incomplete information, when it shapes the dietary choices of billions of people, has consequences measured in fatigue, in illness, and in diminished quality of life. For 3.5 billion years, this microscopic organism has been converting sunlight into one of the most nutrient-dense substances on Earth. Ancient civilizations recognized its power. The Aztecs harvested it from lakes in Mexico. The Kanembu people of Chad have eaten it for centuries and continue to do so today. Modern science has validated what traditional knowledge preserved. History and science connect. Nearly 2 billion people struggle with iron deficiency right now. Millions wake up exhausted every morning, told to eat more steak while a solution costing pennies per serving remains virtually unknown. The research exists. The evidence is clear. The studies have been published in the most respected medical journals in the world. The gap is not in science, but in awareness. The gap is in the space between what we know and what we share. Awareness matters. Get your iron levels tested properly. Not just hemoglobin, but a complete iron panel, including serum iron, ferritin, total iron binding capacity, and transferrin saturation. These numbers tell the full story that a basic blood test misses. Many people walk around with depleted iron stores for years without ever reaching the threshold for an official anemia diagnosis. They are told their blood work is normal while they struggle through every day feeling half alive. Tested and informed is better. If you find your levels are low, you have options that extend far beyond the steak dinner your doctor might suggest. 5 grams of quality spirulina delivers roughly 4 milligrams of highly absorbable iron, along with protein, antioxidants, and supporting nutrients that work synergistically. Compare that to iron supplements that often cause constipation, nausea, and digestive distress. Compare it to red meat that raises your cardiovascular and cancer risk with every bite. Options exist. The choice is not binary. Nobody is suggesting you must abandon all animal products or radically transform your diet overnight. But understanding the full landscape of options allows you to make informed decisions, rather than simply following outdated advice passed down through decades of incomplete nutritional science. Consider what happens when you address iron deficiency effectively. The fatigue lifts, the brain fog clears, your immune system strengthens, your hair stops falling out. Exercise becomes enjoyable rather than exhausting. Sleep becomes restorative rather than just another period of unconsciousness that fails to recharge you. The quality of life difference between adequate iron status and deficiency is profound, yet so many people accept their diminished state as simply how life feels. It does not have to feel that way, and the solution does not require expensive supplements, prescription medications, or foods that may be doing long-term damage to your cardiovascular system. A microscopic organism that survived every mass extinction event in Earth's history and that was already ancient when the first fish evolved, contains within its single-celled structure more bioavailable iron than any steak ever grilled. Now you know what most people never learn. What you do with that knowledge is up to you.